the truth is painful.
You can't handle the truth.
Welcome to Todd's Truth. And tonight we're going to be doing Creator Truths with our guests, Phil Diaz from Zaid Comics and Professor Murf from War Party.
Todd's Truth. Hey, it's a great group here you got, Todd.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys were able to come on.
Your designated troll is in the chat already.
Uh-oh, yeah, Rob.
And by the way, Rob, that picture of me is only a year old, okay? So I don't want to hear it. It's called COVID. That's the extra 10 pounds, right? It's not from 30. It's last year.
Well, I'm glad you guys could come on so we could do this. This is going to be fun, hopefully.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd ask a couple of questions and see, get you guys to answer them and see what, first question kind of loosen things up is, who is your favorite comic book character?
Ooh. I would have to say DC Comics is Lobo. 90s Lobo. Not New 52 Lobo.
No.
Simon Bisley Lobo. Written by Keith Giffen and Alan Grant. Those are that's the best Lobo.
Professor Murf?
The Hulk.
Oh.
I've always loved the Hulk. Not so much because of the comic, more because of the TV show, honestly. Yeah. What you doing?
Did you do 20 years of
Rob? Okay, that's it, Rob. I am going to bombard your inbox. He complains about me updating too much. I'm gonna send him special updates that I don't send anybody else. And that's oh my Lord, the camera's not flattering from this angle. Okay, I promise you, I'm handsomer than this.
And so, which character, those are your most which ones was your most disliked or hated character?
Oh, I thought of it that way.
Hated character.
Well, you guys think I'll tell you mine. My most hated character was Spider-Man.
No,
Well,
couldn't stand Spider-Man. I thought the character was dumb, and a radioactive spider bit somebody, you'd be dead. You wouldn't become a spider.
Well, so would Hulk if he got blasted by a nuclear bomb.
Exactly.
It's all ridiculous.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, Todd, that makes me feel better to say my answer because my answer is probably Superman. I was never a Superman fan. I think he serves his purpose, but a lot of the time, I think the character, on the surface is not very complex and is very a goody two shoes, much like Cyclops in X-Men. So
yeah.
Interesting. Okay, I've never really had a hated character. I mean, I honestly, characters that I'll say it. A lot of people aren't going to like me. I think Deadpool is highly overrated. Highly overrated. I didn't find the movie funny. I don't find the character funny. I think he's obnoxious. I don't like him. Sorry. So I found it. Thank you.
There you go.
I just had a revelation. I hate Deadpool. So let's hope Rob Liefeld never becomes CG.
He was just a cheap ripoff of the better Deathstroke right there.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's all he was just his cheap ripoff. He even admitted that it was just a cheap ripoff of Deathstroke because he liked Deathstroke so much, but he couldn't draw him, so he made one of his own.
And he also
go ahead.
He also did that with Lobo. He made Blood Wolf, right?
Right.
Basically a Lobo ripoff.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't like him breaking the fourth wall either. I think that's a cheap way of trying to be funny. It's like, oh, look at me, I'm gonna, it's like when an actor on stage talks to the audience. To me, it's I don't know.
He overdoes it too. Like that aspect. Like if you have a character that breaks the fourth wall, you can't overdo it like he does. It is now a part of his character that he does that. She-Hulk would do that on covers. Lobo would do that vary from time to time. Kind of like Camera Spike, the reader and stuff like that. But it became too much of the essence of who Deadpool is.
Yeah, I don't know. I never liked him. I didn't like the movie. Honestly, I didn't think it was funny. I thought it was trying too hard. Like, look,
Yeah.
we're going to be a rated R movie, and we're going to be as crude as possible. I'm like, guys, if I want to watch something funny that's crude, I'll watch The Big Lebowski.
Mm.
Right? That's way better. That's
There
way
you
better
go.
than Deadpool could have ever hoped.
Yeah,
to
exactly.
be.
Yeah, I
So,
agree.
I don't know.
That was
Yeah,
a good movie.
that would definitely be. Thanks for helping me realize that. I hate Deadpool,
You're welcome.
and I'm not ashamed to admit it.
Yep. No, one of my favorite characters is Deathstroke. So when he ripped off Deathstroke for Deadpool, I was like, oh no, no, that does not even work.
Now, a character I love that I wish got more respect and I wish was done better, the movies were a disappointment, honestly, is Ghost Rider. I think he's awesome. I mean, a flaming skull, leather outfit, and a bike. I mean, come on. It's like the coolest thing ever.
Well,
and for some reason, they just can't get him right in the
Well,
movies.
they made him Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, well, that was part of
That
it,
right
yeah.
there was a killer.
Like, could you imagine Ghost Rider in the Avengers movies, or like in the Infinity War, or part of that whole Marvel universe? It would have been so cool.
Yeah, they brought him into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, I didn't know that. I don't
for a little bit, but he's played by a Mexican guy, and I think he drove a car instead of a motorcycle.
Right. So yeah, that's a different version of Ghost Rider. Like Robbie Reyes, I think his name is, and he drives like a dark,
that's what it was.
an old Dodge Charger. And
Yeah,
the wheels are on fire. It's pretty cool. It's got like a blower on the hood and stuff like that.
The flaming General Lee.
yeah.
yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's like you took away, like you said, Professor Murf, the motorcycle with the flaming wheels and how it would transform when the
awesome.
Ghost Rider got on it.
It's
it was
awesome.
like, yeah,
the
that
baddest
was
thing ever. I mean, you don't get badder looking than Ghost Rider, especially if he's drawn well. Like if you see Michael Golden do it, or Todd McFarlane, or Texiera.
Yeah,
I mean, it's awesome. So I think he's kind of, and people always laugh at it, like what a stupid character. I don't think he's stupid at all. I think it's cool, but I guess he's never really gotten his due.
Yeah, he's kind of overpowered though.
Yeah, like Spawn.
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, that was from
Man, Rob is on a tear tonight.
Replica. Rob's asking all the important questions.
And no, I didn't watch your video, Rob. So I'm not ripping off your... I'm glad we're in agreement.
Hi to Edwin.
Yo, what's up, Ace?
Hail, Edwin. I was on their stream last week, on Preston's stream last Friday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So that's my next question would be to you guys. Since you both of you, Murf, you're on your first campaign, and then Phil, you're done two now, and you've got the sign up for your third. Which
That's right.
All the information for your links is in the description below as well.
Sweet.
So what were your expectations going into these campaigns when you first started them? And then what was the reality of what the campaigns actually how they went?
Yeah, it's a good question. We did Magic Cop 1 last, we started in 2019, August, and shipped it out in February 2020. And going into it, getting around the community and seeing all these campaigns, you don't really know how your campaign is going to do, especially being very novice at this stuff. And I was a fresh face and had to kind of go through the chat rooms or everybody's chats and introduce myself, do super chats and all this stuff, jump on streams, the streams I could get onto. You just don't know what you're going to do compared to other campaigns, or the art style and just the topic of your comic. There's so many factors go into all this stuff, but we were hoping to make around 8K for our first comic, which, looking back at it, that's not a lot for what we put out. I mean, my brother was doing the arts, and we did basically a 4-issue graphic novel. It had 92 pages in it. It was originally going to have 88, but we bumped it up. I rewrote the ending, yeah. And I know Murf, you're doing something similar. You have a lot of content in your book, right?
Yeah, it's a long form. I'm long-winded. I can't do 64 pages.
Right.
It's not enough for me to tell a story. Sorry.
Yeah. So, my brother was drawing it and I was campaigning for it and stuff. And we ended our 60 days at just over $4,000. And we funded, I think our funding goal was 3K. And then over the course after that, we were in demand, over the next, 4 or 5 months or so. We made almost another 10K after that, just from people, hopping on board, recognizing me going around, making friends with all these great creators, and people knowing who we were. It built that momentum. So that was really surprising. It was really cool. And then for the second campaign, it was even more because we switched it up, with the lost pages. We were able to work with so many awesome creators because we made friends in CG. It's really, really cool. So it, over the long term, it was kind of exceeded our expectations on that front.
Yeah. So with yours, Professor, do you think did it go the way you thought it was going to go, or did you have to make, like Phil was saying, things happen that you didn't anticipate going on?
I was thinking I would hit about 15, which I did when I closed, so that was good. That was a relief.
Yeah.
When I launched, but I've made almost another 10.
Yeah.
Or 9 or 10s in demand. Like Phil is saying, in demand, what's interesting about that is I think a lot of people just wait. They wait to see if you get funded, and then once you're in demand, they're more comfortable backing you, and then they jump on board. So I think that was part of it. But there was a time about halfway through the first 30 days where I was like, this isn't going to make it. Like I was hovering around $3,000 or $4,000 maybe, and it was not building. You could see the trajectory. I'm like, I'm not going to hit it, and I realized I could extend the campaign. So I was like, well, if I hit 5 or 6, 50% by 30 days, I'll extend it, and that's what I did, and that's when it started to pick up. But yeah, I think the problem with it was, well, not that I'm complaining. I mean, it's going great, but is that people just don't know who you are when you're launching your first campaign. It doesn't matter what you've done 20 years ago. They don't know that. CG, it's a whole new crowd mostly, and they want to know, who are you? What are you doing here? Are you for real? Are you serious about this? Is this just some fly-by-night idea you had? How do we know you're going to deliver? On and on and on. And so you kind of have to prove yourself to everybody, and that takes time. And it took me 60 days to like get people on board. And now it's at the point where it's got that momentum, where backers it'll just happen. And I'm not really doing anything at this point other than streaming now and then, which is good. Once you get in that zone.
Yeah, you're totally right with, especially new creators. They'll come in and go their first month without going on shows and stuff. Mm-hmm. And then there's a disconnect between creator and consumer, and, creator and fan and backer. And that really hurts them. So, and seemingly the longer you are around, and delivering stuff, the more trust you build with all the community. So I think that's a really important thing if you're looking to do a project in the future. I hear a lot of people say this. You hear guys like Leroy and say, hang around, build friendships in the chat, streams and stuff like that. That's what I did early on, because I was a fan just watching everybody sending in super chats, being like, and I'd go on like Antonio Bryce's stream or just in the chat, Ethan's stream, and when I would go to promote later, once we were campaigning, they would be like, oh yeah, I remember you saying this in the chat talking about Magic Cop, and I didn't know what the hell it was, and now here it is. So it's like all about planting seeds that are going to grow when you start promoting your campaign.
Yeah, definitely. And the quality's got to be there, but quality isn't enough. Like, you can have a great looking book,
sure.
but people want to know you. You have to sell yourself, really, as much as you sell your book. And that's what I've found. I mean, there's a reason why Ethan makes $1 million on his last Cyberfrog campaign. Yeah, Cyberfrog's great, but Ethan is Ethan. You know, like he's got his fans. You know,
Right.
and they'll buy anything he makes. So you add that on top of the quality, and it's a winning combination.
Right.
So I noticed like Andy Smith had that problem at first when he launched First Man. The first few weeks he was just not getting any traction, and then he started going on streams, and now I think he's at 11 or 12,000. And this guy's a pro. He's been in the business for 20, 30 years. So
Yeah.
that just shows you it's going to be a rude awakening for pros once they jump ship from DC and Marvel and try to come over and do this. If they're not prepared to do what we're doing right now, it's not going to go too well. Like it's just not going to. I don't care who they are. So
Right.
it's kind of a level
that's
playing
good.
field.
Yeah, that's good lead in for my next question for you guys. It's how do you feel about this new world of comic books? It's as much about, like you were just saying, it's as much about self-promotion as it is about the comic and the itself. And how do you guys feel about that? Do you guys think it's going to continue? Do you think it's going to go a different way? Do you think it's going to continue this way or become even bigger?
So I love it because it's much better than going to cons. Because you get to talk to people at cons, but everybody, there's a whole convention to go see. They stop by, maybe they pick up your book, you talk to them for 2 minutes or whatever, and they're going to go to the costume contest or whatever. Here we're interacting with the fans constantly. They're always getting updates, we're always getting feedback, and it's every night. You get to hang out with your friends and stuff like that. Really more attainable for everybody. And you don't have to have, weirdos breathing on you.
There you go.
And, so it's great. I think that as long as there's a community and that community aspect to it, that this is going to keep rolling forward. And I think it's the best thing right now for comic books is to be doing what we're doing.
And the economics of it too, just to put it in perspective. Yes, I did, Rob. Thank you. It's like my mom or something. Brush your hair, sweetie. Put the mic closer to your mouth. Thank you for backing the handbook, by the way, Rob. I just saw you back that. Let me use an example. In 2009, I went to New York Comic Con at the Javits Center to sell my graphic novel Claiborne. I had a booth, bought an ad, flown to New York. Had a hotel, all the work. Spent I don't know, $5,000 on the weekend or something ridiculous. Sold out of everything I brought and still barely broke even.
Sure.
I mean, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
That's the point. This is we are doing small comic conventions, or what I like to see it is like a band playing a small club. We're playing lots of small clubs, and we're selling lots of CDs, right? So, and some clubs are bigger than others, depending on the stream. But the point is, we're out here doing it, but we're not having to travel. We're not having to pay for, travel expenses and food and a booth and advertising and all. We're not paying for anything. We're sitting in our house. And we're moving the same amount of units, roughly, we would probably move if we'd gone to a con anyways.
Yeah, you're right.
So there's
totally
no
right.
comparison. The only reason why I think a con for CG would be great, and I hope it happens, the whole For the Fans Fest in Orlando, is number one, I'm 2.5 hours away from you, Todd. I'm in Jacksonville. And number two,
I know, and it's right here. I just drive across town.
Yeah, I can just drive there. But number two, I think and this needs to happen, I'm telling you, especially if we get all the Aussies, Rob, over here. We get in the UK, CG, everybody. I mean, from all over, Leroy, all the chat, all the people we know from all the chats and the pros and the fans, all came together in Orlando for this thing. I think it would rival MegaCon. Like, it would be huge.
Oh, yeah. I do, too.
It'd be amazing. Because you finally get to meet all these people you've been talking to all these years. You get to meet your fans. And, I mean, the energy would be insane. I think it'd be awesome. So I hope it happens. And I do think we would benefit from a con like that, but that would be because it was such a special event.
Yeah,
I think that would be amazing.
I agree.
I think that ones I've talked to, all the Aussies except Clayton Barton has said that they would come if it happens.
Nice.
Bancroft said he would. Rob said he would, and so did Corey.
Clayton because of the baby, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably couldn't leave because his wife would kill him. or his girlfriend. He's like, no, you're not leaving me alone.
That'd be great. You know, like Charlie's London was there, and Commie Mark, and everybody from the UK, and you know,
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
yeah, it'd be awesome because it's like everybody's a celebrity in a weird way. Even the fans in the chat, you know.
Right.
I mean, Leroy's a celebrity, right? I mean, you know, Mortal V, all those guys, you know, it would be awesome. So
Yeah, you get to see some of these guys. It'd be like, oh, that's, you know, the ones you don't get to see their faces. You
well,
know,
that's
it's
the
like,
thing.
oh,
Would they
that's what
be
you
willing?
look like.
Would they be willing to show their face? That's the
Right.
question.
They'd all come in like Cecil with a mask on.
Right. Or their avatar, a
Yeah.
big West. Leroy would have a big West Virginia.
Oh, that would be funny. They all walk around with big round masks on with their avatar.
With
That would be
eye hole.
hilarious.
Yeah.
No, then you just take them out afterwards and give them a few beers, and then you see what they really look like.
Right.
Well, while we're talking about this, let's talk about you guys'
Oh,
current
by the
campaigns.
way, Todd, since when does Bancroft stream at 9 o'clock?
Exactly.
What is he
And I
trying
promoted
to do
this.
here?
I promoted this for the whole week, and then all of a sudden, just today, they announced it. I was like, what?
And he brings on a rock star. He brings on Graham Nolan. I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, you are killing Todd right now.
I know. I said the same thing. I was watching Graham's stream earlier, and he was like, "Oh yeah, by the way, I'll be on Bancroft stream tonight." I was like, "Oh good," at 9 o'clock. I was like, "What? No,
Swiper.
that was just dirty." But I don't know. You know, I guess Graham's old, so that's all I can stay up till.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah,
you can't come
I
up
have
till
a
11.
feeling Graham made that happen. He's like,
Yeah.
look, I'll come on your show, but you're going to have to stream earlier than 11 o'clock. I'm not staying up that late.
Yeah, he was also on Arch stream tonight too. He was on with who's it? It was him, Art, Frega, and Andy.
Yeah. Well, he's stealing all sorts of viewers because last night I went over to Fizz Giggity's channel and they were all sitting there watching Bancroft stream. It was like they had Bancroft stream. I couldn't get away from him. He was like
Yeah.
on the
Hilarious.
screen, and they're all. It was like a director commentary when you're watching the DVD or something. They're all talking about the movie.
You're all, what is going on here?
Jesus.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, here's Rob.
Uh-oh. Yeah. Going on Bancroft stream.
Thanks
Yeah,
for the bump, Rog.
Okay, let's talk about this. This is your mail-in list. Sign up for your new Magic Cop.
Yeah, for Magic Cop 2. Yeah, so and if you guys haven't seen or you don't really know what Magic Cop is, it's basically a mashup of 80s crime shows like Miami Vice with Halloween, like kind of that Halloween Town vibe. The world is based in Halloweeny creatures, and that's the norm. So in this city, it's very, very Miami-like and totally has that 80s crime feel. Our main character, his name is Iggy Cromwell. He is a magic cop, and magic cops have their wands passed down from generation to generation. So he's basically like the wizard police officer of his station, and he has this team. He's got Grey Wolf, who's the old-timer on the verge of retirement. He's his partner. You have Helly. She's the sexy witch down at the bottom, and O'Hara, the half leprechaun, half giant. So it kind of like equals out. So he's the.
I like that. Half leprechaun, half giant. It's always a normal-sized guy.
That is funny.
So he's the comic relief of the book. And in the first book, they were hunting down this guy who was trafficking mermaids into the city to sell them off as into a sex ring. But at this time, they're looking for the bad guy who's concocting a new drug that it's called pixie dust. And whoever takes this pixie dust, whoever snorts it, gets magical powers. So you have these junkie wizards running around the city. So they got to figure out who's doing that. And at the same time, that bad guy has hired this contract killer to take one of them out. This is the headless hitman. He drives a badass motorcycle. And he's hunting them down. So as you can see, it's a lot of fun. Definitely different from the Lost Pages. Totally tonal shift. It's actually written kind of like those old episodes of TV shows. So I studied those and watched a lot of Miami Vice and kind of wanted to mimic the story flow. There's no internal monologue in this like you would have in something that's like a comic. It's more like a show. In fact, the intro to the book, if you scroll down to those last two images, those are kind of taken from the intro. It's like a montage. It's an opening sequence where you would have credits that roll at the beginning with the title of Magic Cop on there as well. So definitely want to give you that feel of Miami Vice, like you're watching a show.
Phil, does Adam Post know that one of the mermaids has made an appearance?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were the first CG mermaid book.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that one's for Adam Post.
I get a little bit of a Scooby Doo vibe too, with like, especially with the headless.
Yeah, yeah.
Like the colors and everything.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is cool. I mean, that's a nostalgia. I know that's not 80s, but there's kind of a Scooby-Doo-ish kind of.
Yeah, a lot of people, they're like, oh man, this would be a great like Adult Swim cartoon. Like they get that vibe from it as well.
Yeah.
Which I agree. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. Like I said, it's a different pacing and tone than the Lost Pages, because the Lost Pages was totally just an homage and love letter to comics. So like all the different genres in there, storytelling as well. So we want to keep the readers on their toes and, switching between these two IPs, because we're going to be doing that for a while. And like I said earlier, this one's a big one. So it's going to be 92 pages, full graphic novel. And with this, if you guys missed out on the first book, we're actually reprinting it with a new cover. I can actually pull it up for you.
I'll show that.
Check this out. So this is a cover by Kelsey Shannon, and he did the reprint cover for Magic Cop 1.
Nice. I'll take that full screen so everybody can see it.
Yeah, look at that.
Wow.
So cool. Yeah, he
That
killed
looks so
it.
good.
Yeah, he did the colors too.
Yeah, nice 80s,
Oh, wow.
80s colors going on there.
Yeah.
Just like I'm back in the surf shop.
Yeah.
And there's the big bad guy of the first book. His name's Bone Daddy-O. He's a Jamaican
I like that.
skeleton man.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. He's got a Jamaican accent. It was really fun writing him, doing the different dialogue and the accent that he has. But yeah, man, this is going to be a lot of fun. Also, I know, Todd, you wanted me to show that cover I showed yesterday on Shane's, right?
Yeah.
The one here, let me see. This is the color. This is the main cover for the book, done by Pablo Romero. He does an awesome, Patrick Nagel 80s style art. He's just so amazing. If you guys don't follow him.
The zebra print. Dude, you're bringing me back.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's what we want. In fact,
if I didn't know anything about this, Phil, and I just looked at like this picture or your other picture, the first thing I thought of was Miami Vice.
Yeah, definitely, totally. The pink and the palm trees.
Yeah, and the white suit and the does he wear the wicker shoes too? Like
he does. Yes. My brother specifically designed this costume to have that, of course, Sonny Crockett Miami Vice feel, but also, as you can see, the sleeves are like wizard sleeves. They hang really low.
Oh yeah.
So
I didn't even notice that. That's funny.
Melded those together.
Oh
yeah, a lot of fun. And Pablo's cover for the first book that we had, I just commissioned him to do it, and we were like, maybe we'll make this into a comic. And then once I saw the cover, I'm like, dude, we have to do this because this is just so cool, and it just embodies the whole theme of this world. So yeah, and so the ash can we're doing with this is going to have behind the scenes material of the making of the book, concepts, stuff like that, maybe some script work in there as well. But it's also going to have a 12-page short story in it that's going to be illustrated by Alan Alonso. And he goes by the Howl Comics on Twitter. He's the artist that did the Masquerade story in the Lost Pages for us. It's such a kick-ass artist. And he actually won the Magic Cop fan art contest for the first book. And that's how we got in contact with him. So he did this amazing cover for that story and for the ash can. So this is going to be Grey Wolf, who's our wolf guy, is going above the law because he gets thrown off of a case that he's connected to. Someone in his family was murdered, and he's hunting them down now, off the books. So he picks up his katana, goes to this, Japanese part of the city to hunt down a big drug lord. And this is him. If you guys love like old Steven Seagal movies, even like 70s kung fu, you're gonna love this stuff. It has a lot of nods to like Game of Death and stuff like that.
Yeah, it reminds me of the Enter the Dragon poster a little bit.
Yeah, dude. I sent that to him as to pull inspiration from, because I'm like,
Cool.
He's like, well, how do you want the cover? And I'm like, well, I was looking at, different kung fu posters, Bruce Lee stuff, and he has the nunchucks out in front of him like this. I'm like, I really like that. Let's have something that kind of gives that feel to it. So I think that sword works like that.
Yeah. Bravo for using that green. That's not a green we see very often anymore.
Yeah.
That super neon, like blow your eye, your irises out kind of. I love it. The saturation and everything.
Yeah, that specifically comes. We did a short story, my brother and I, for the first book in our first Ash Can, and it was set around kind of like these similar enemies. They're not humans, they're basically kabuki like golems, and if you like cut their head off, they're like hollow wooden people, and there's a soul inside them that flies out, and that soul is this green energy. It's kind of like reminiscent of like Shang Tsung's souls from Mortal Kombat, stuff like that.
That took time to draw. That's an impressive piece of art.
Yeah,
that really is.
He's awesome. So he's doing the 12-page story in there as well as this cover. So we're really excited to see some other people draw Magic up as well. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, that looks good. Like I was telling Phil earlier, I'm like, I love that you have a werewolf that carries a samurai sword. Kind of like that's just awesome. Like he's a werewolf. He really doesn't need it, but you give him a sword. That's awesome.
And he's still got his sunglasses on too. It's always got.
Oh yeah.
Todd, don't you know every CG book this year has to have a werewolf?
Yeah.
Yep, I think so. It is the year of the werewolves. I mean, I've seen more werewolves now than I think I've ever seen at one time. Wow, yes. Yeah, that looks really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the rest of the story illustrated, because there's nods in here to like enemies in the book that aren't too obvious on the cover, but they're going to be a lot of fun in the story. Yeah, I can't wait. Other than that, we are. What's up?
Is she the villain?
She's going to be one of the people he fights. Yeah. So like he enters a pagoda, and kind of like Game of Death style, where he fights different bad guys. And of course they're mixtures of like Halloween-y, aspects with Japanese cultural styles and mythological figures.
I just noticed the cherry blossom trees in the background.
Yeah, dude.
That's cool.
He's a graphical designer by day, so his layouts and stuff are just he just has the eye for it.
Yep.
Yeah, there's so much detail in the background of this. It's amazing.
But everything's clear and separate. Like you can make everything out.
Yeah.
Wow. It's really good. I like the sunglasses too. They look like shields at first. Like I thought they were shields, and then I looked and they're sunglasses.
Yeah, it's so much depth to it. He just killed it on this, and it's so fun to work with him. Like I said, we did that the Masquerade story for the Lost Pages, and our working relationship, it was just so smooth, and I think we're going to be working together for a long time. Yeah,
his work is awesome. Really good.
Yeah, other than that, we right now I'm putting the finishing touches on the trailer for the campaign, and going to be finishing that up, and we should be launching in a few weeks. Definitely going to be launching in February. So everybody sign up, please, because you get a free poster with the book if you back, and you're signed up to it. So that's going to be awesome. And yeah, we're going to need all the help we can to get this one out there.
Yeah, and the sign up for this is in the description below as well, if you guys need the link.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And then the Lost Pages as well is still open, and we just need, I think, 7 backers till we break 500 backers, which is amazing. Thanks everybody who backed that. I know Rob did in the chat. Thank you. You probably haven't read it yet, but I appreciate you back.
It's very nice.
And then we'll talk about this. And
Yeah.
congratulations on breaking 23,000.
Thanks.
Oh shit, man! Good job.
On my way to 24.
Yeah,
I
almost
told
to 24
myself,
now.
I'm at the point now where I'm like, I got to hit at least 25 for me to consider this a success. that to me, 25 is the magic number. So it'll get there.
Yeah, it's going great.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got a great trailer for it. Let's watch that, actually. If you guys don't mind.
Oh yeah, let's watch it.
This is one of my favorite trailers.
I don't think you shared audio.
I don't hear your audio though.
Oh, it didn't?
God damn it, Todd.
I know.
It may be a good idea not to share the audio. I don't know. It's copyrighted, so I don't want you to get in trouble. But
Is it?
it hasn't gotten anybody in trouble yet. It's from last.
Oh, that's weird. It was playing audio for me. It's weird.
Yeah, I wrote a similar version. I was like, it just doesn't sound as good. I'm just using the original.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
I
like
think I
you
know.
could tell I was copying it, but it didn't have the same punch. You're having to move around notes and things. It just doesn't work.
You do music as well?
Yeah, actually, yeah, I sing, do theater. I've been doing theater for years,
Oh,
but
sweet.
yeah.
Let me see if this is why. Might have been because I was using it
And
in.
I'm sure if Rob was still here, he'd make some kind of comment. So gay.
No, I used to do a lot of theater as well.
Oh, cool. Yeah. My son's a professional actor. He was on the national tour of Bronx Tale right before COVID hit. He was
Wow.
going all over the country playing young Calogero.
That's so
Oh,
cool.
wow.
Yeah, and he was having a blast. So,
All right, let's see if it works, Todd. Don't let us down.
Okay, let's see if this is working now. Is it working now?
No,
No.
it's okay. we know the technical issue that will have to be resolved. Just figure out how you're going to share sound. It's no biggie.
Damn it, Todd.
Oh,
hear something.
I know
hear an
why I
airplane.
did that. Sorry.
You didn't check the box?
No, I didn't check. No, I forgot I'm running Firefox and not Chrome.
Yeah,
Oh my
Firefox
God.
doesn't do well with StreamYard. I learned the same
Uninstall
lesson.
Firefox.
It does except when you try to play videos.
Right, like I couldn't share audio one time when I was sharing my screen in Firefox.
Totally
so
forgot about
I
that.
started
So
using
weird.
Chrome instead. Doesn't matter. Yeah, what do you want to talk about? Oh, well, that Michael Golden thing's a brand new development. I'm sure you saw the update for that.
Yeah,
He
right here.
contacted me a few days ago, or his agent did, and was like, Michael can do 10 commissions for you, or anything anybody wants. I said, okay, well, let's set it up. So one of them went already. He'll draw anything you want, head and shoulders, 9x12, fully inked. And then you
That's
get
pretty awesome.
the full set with it as well. You get the full variant set, so you get his cover as well. So,
Wow, that's awesome.
yeah, it's very cool.
Jesus.
Yeah, he's my favorite artist. I mean, I'm sure you've heard that on other streams, but he's the one I grew up reading, the Nom and G.I. Joe, and I just love his art. He's a genius. I've never seen
Wow.
somebody who can put such cartoony energy and yet also make something look realistic. It's very strange how he does it.
Mhm.
He
Yeah.
blends cartoon and realism in a way that I don't understand how he does it, honestly. But yeah, and that and Bernie Wrightson, of course, love Bernie Wrightson. He's another one of my favorites, and Brian Boland of Judge Dredd and The Killing Joke. So you probably see some of those influences in my work.
Wrightson for sure, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like this picture here is really awesome.
Yeah, that was one of those covers where I was working on it. I felt very inspired. I was like, I'm loving this layout. I am loving the way this is working. Sometimes things just click and you're like, this works.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
colors work, the layout works, the composition, it's very striking. It's an age-old trick, obviously. You put warm colors next to cool. The eye likes that because they're complementary and things like that. So, yeah, I have a great colorist. I mean, he works for IDW and ironically does G.I. Joe. So G.I. Joe, there's this connection. I don't know what it is.
Oh yeah.
It just keeps coming back. But and I've been working with him for years. since I did Claiborne back in 2008, my graphic novel. So he knows how I draw. I know how he colors, and it's a good combination. We understand how to collaborate. So you find a
I
good
love
colorist, hang on.
Native American stories because my godparents are Apache.
Yeah, I heard that
So
on that stream.
how did you come up with the idea to do this story?
Well, it actually came from Celtic lore originally because the Celts used to put on the animals, or the skins of animals when they went to combat.
Yeah.
And they would do, it was very similar to what Indians did, is they'd put on the outfit and they'd get juiced up, drink some magic potion that, woo, and they'd be ready to go fight. And a lot of times they believed they actually were turning into that beast, that animal. And that's where the whole skinwalker, of course, tribal mythology, skinwalkers are almost like humans that have turned into demons. They've given themselves over to evil magic and just been totally consumed by it.
Right.
So my character Diane, the shaman, she has learned how to harness the energy without letting it turn her evil, basically. So she's able to use that energy to help others transform, and she finds out what their totem animal is, of course, and so whatever your totem
there it is.
Yeah, that's the Preston Azevedo painting, but that's the cover of issue 0.
It's beautiful,
which
man.
is 250 copies only. That's all I'm printing.
Oh.
Half of them are gone already, which is great.
Yeah, I got mine.
Yeah, that was a great perk. I noticed adding secret perks after your campaign is already rolling is a really good idea because your backers that have already backed you, generally, if you give them more content, they will buy it. They want it. They want to spend as much time in that world as possible. So give them more content. I'd rather give them more content than a t-shirt or a hat, or nothing wrong with that. But I figured, why not do just, it's more work, but I wanted to tell this part of the story anyways, and I couldn't fit it in 6 issues. And that was the problem. I originally wrote this to be an 8-issue series. But I couldn't offer 8 issues for $25. I was like, that's just too much. So I condensed it down to 6. I threw her backstory out completely out of the series. And then when I got the idea to do 0, I was like, well, now I can put her backstory in 0. You don't have to know it to understand 1 through 6. But if you want to know more, there she is. It's all about her. So, because she goes all the way back to Ponce de Leon when he landed in St. Augustine. So
okay, wow.
She's been alive for a long time.
Yeah.
1,000 years at this point.
And it really doesn't hurt to get Preston to do it for you either. That looks
and I
amazing.
didn't even know he was doing all these other campaigns. I had no idea. I just saw his work on Twitter. I was like, this guy's great. I got to get this guy.
Yeah.
And then I found out he did one for Sovereign Wolf, and he did he's like doing and Mothman and a bunch of other books. And I was like, wow, this guy's like the busiest man in CG. He's I don't know how he gets it done.
It looks like it, man. He's on a bunch of stuff, and he's already put like 3 of his own books out.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's right. He just did, what was it? Doc Samson, right?
Doc Salem.
Salem,
yes. Doc
Salem,
Samson.
yes. That was the Hulk's enemy.
Yeah, that was the Hulk. Doc Salem, yes.
Doc Salem. He has got 9 Devils, and then what was the first one he did? Was Rockabilly Road Trip.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
That was before. Forgot about that one too.
My CG time. So it's detailed. I mean, as you can see, I put a lot of work in these.
Beautiful, man.
Yeah, they look really good.
And what you see on the cover is what you're going to get inside. I mean, other than Preston's cover and Michael Golden's cover, all the other covers are done by me. So none of those surprises. I don't like that surprise. I think there was a discussion on Bancroft's channel about whether or not to use a different cover artist. I think it's fine as long as the cover art is in the same league as what's inside, basically. It doesn't have to be stylistically the same, but it needs to be the same level of quality, in my opinion. And I can't tell you how many books in the stores I've looked at the cover and, wow, this looks amazing. I open it up, and as soon as I look at the interior art, it goes right back on the shelf. Because I wanted what I saw on the cover. And it's so disappointing when that happens, because you get so excited thinking the book is going to look like this, and it doesn't. So the good thing about me being the artist and doing most of the covers is if you like what you see on the cover, that's what you're getting on the inside. panel by panel, so.
Yeah, I distinctly remember going to the comic shop as a kid and picking up an issue of Iron Man where he's like, I don't know what issue it was, but it was a later, probably like early 2000s thing. And he was flying, a big explosion behind him. And then I flipped through it, and I don't even think I saw Iron Man's suit in the book.
It's Tony Stark talking the whole time.
Yeah. I'm like, what? Iron Man sucks. And I put it down,
Yeah, I don't. It is strange. It's this phenomenon in superhero comics lately where it's like they don't want to give you superheroes. I mean, we've all heard this before. I mean, that's why CG is here, because people are tired of. You can tell a story, and it doesn't have to all be action. But for God's sake, if someone's buying a book and they want they want explosions and action, you need to give them explosions and action around the story. And I'm kind of. I don't know. There's I hope I don't. Stop hitting that. The son is being a little testy over here. I hope I hope I don't delay gratification too long, because I was working on the book and I got to the end of issue 3 and I'm like, we've only seen a werewolf so far. I'm at issue 3 and we haven't seen the team yet. Like, the team has not transformed yet. But I was like, hang on. Because 4, 5, and 6, it's like, it just, it cuts loose.
Yeah.
And I like things that do that hold it back, kind of like movies like Alien or even Aliens. They hold it back. I think in Aliens, the first hour, you don't even see the aliens yet. Like, it's just building the tension. The Marines are looking around. They find Newt, all that stuff. You still don't see an alien. And it's way into the movie, and all of a sudden, once the aliens come out, that movie's a roller coaster. It does not let you off the train. It's just
Yeah, it's like the way they did it with the first one as well, where you saw people getting killed, but you never saw the xenomorph until the very end.
Yeah,
so you didn't even know what he looks like.
So there's nothing wrong with a slow burn, but I get what you're saying, Phil. When you buy an Iron Man comic and it's 22 pages and 2 pages have Iron Man on it, you're like, or it was a lot. The last Nolan Batman movie was that way. It's a good movie, but it's not a Batman movie. You know what I mean? Like Dark Knight Return or Dark Knight Rises. Yeah, it's got a lot of great stuff in it, but there's no Batman, and the little bit of time he's on screen, he's insufferable. Like, he gets his butt kicked. It's just not an enjoyable movie to watch, so give them what they want, right?
It's like, I believe it was Rob that was saying that when he does his comics, he has a number of words allowed per page and no more, because he wants it to be mostly about the action and the art, and then the words are just there to enhance that.
Yeah.
But when you see some of these comic books today that are like, oh my gosh, look, there's 10,000 words on one comic book page.
Right.
It's like, what?
Well, that's what I think a lot of that goes towards these writers that are coming into comics that aren't comic writers, and they're not huge comic fans, or they're fans of comics at a time that comics weren't the biggest selling thing in the world, like the 90s, like at that time you got all the action, everything was action. So they don't understand, like, I don't want to say a formula, but for lack of a better term, formula of doing comics. And that's where you get these double page spreads where there's 20 dialogue boxes, on between 2 pages and stuff. And it just loses the audience. They don't pay attention to how to utilize a page turn, and keep that reader, anticipating something. So they'll turn the page, so it forces them to get to the end of the story and not put it down. And I see that a lot in mainstream comics, and I see that a lot in indie comics as well. But I think the people that are trying to do it in indie comics, they just need to, practice, and they're going to get there. But I wish there was some way. I think you just pick it up through as osmosis and through reading a lot of comics, and seeing, kind of paying attention to those key moments in the book. But I think that's a lot that's lacking because of the writer.
Yeah, and you can have dialogue during action. I mean, think of the great films where the characters are saying things, but things are happening at the same time. So you're getting that characterization, you're getting that banter, that interaction. The characters are being developed, but there's things happening while they're talking, rather than, walking and talking, sitting and talking, drinking and talking at a cafe. Now we're cooking dinner. Now we're, in the car. Make something happen. Put some conflict in there around the dialogue, and you can fit the dialogue anywhere. I mean, guys could be in the middle of a battle, shooting, and like be having an argument, and they're firing at the enemy or whatever. There's ways around it to make it work. Because I come from theater, and I love writing dialogue. I love writing banter, because dialogue tells you a lot about a character, the way they talk, the way they express themselves. So dialogue is important, definitely. So I think the trade-off is in comics is how do you put that character banter in there, let it survive, but not let it overwhelm the reader to where you've got these pages and pages of text. It's a tricky thing to pull off, especially if you have a lot of things that need to be communicated verbally, like information, exposition or whatever. Sometimes it's hard in 22 pages to draw all that or to show it visually when it can just be said in a few lines and we can move on.
Right. Yeah. And that's what the mainstream these days doesn't. They don't understand that, because none of them are actually, they don't care about comic books. And they've said it, they're all in it for the message, and that's it. They don't care about anything else.
They want to strike movie deals.
Right.
A lot of people are film school students that want to get into the movie business.
Yeah. Great. More bad movies.
Well, and that's the edge CG has over the mainstream, is this is all passion driven. None of us would be putting in this amount of work to do a crowdfund. This is work, guys. I mean, it's fun, but you're not going to do this if you don't love your project. You're not going to do it. So it's not like you're a hired hand. It's like, okay, just get this done, and you don't really care. Just give me my check. We all believe in our books. So the passion, I hope, comes through in the storytelling, in the book itself. When people get the book and they read it, they're like, this person is trying to give me a great story with great visuals. And so I think that's our edge, honestly, because if they don't care and we do, it's going to show in the work. It has to.
Yeah, it does. I think a lot of it does. It shows a lot through a lot of creators here, that you can just see the passion and the enthusiasm that they have for their projects. Where if you look at some of the people in the mainstream, like you said, they don't care. It's just a paycheck to them. There's no enthusiasm. There's no passion. But you look at the people doing these books on the indie scene now in CG, it's like, wow, you can feel it. Even when you're watching their live streams, you can feel the passion and enthusiasm coming through them about when they talk about these projects that they love. And it's incredible. I was going to show this real quick. So let's, so this is this is your 6 issues here. The main 6 issues, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. And then this one is the one that you were talking about, has the Michael Golden cover.
Yeah. The variant set is 5 variants of issue 1.
Oh, okay.
So it's every character, it's every shapeshifter on a cover.
Okay.
Michael Golden does the eagle character. So I do 4 of the variants, he does 1 of them. So that's
okay.
So what you're getting in the variant set is 11 comic books. You're getting the 6 issues and then the 5 variants of number 1. And I know that's a lot of variants, but I did it honestly because there's 5 members of the team. And I thought it'd be cool to have, a variant of each one.
Oh yeah, give each one their own cover. That's awesome.
Yeah, and it did pretty well. We did what, 70? Not bad.
70, yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
And then this is the 6 issues with
just the 6 issues with an original sketch by me, and that was 100. And
what size is the sketch?
8.5 by 11, like a normal sheet of, regular sheet of paper.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a good size.
And do they get to pick the sketch, or is it you? Do you pick?
Yeah, it has to be one of the members of the team or Diane herself. So one of those 6 characters. So it's not like the Michael Goldwyn where I'll just draw anything you want. It's got to be from War Party.
Yeah.
I'm not in the mood to draw 10,000 Darth Vaders and 20 Yodas.
Yeah, screw that.
and 5 Deadpool. Gosh, if
Yeah,
I had to
you got a
draw
lot of
Deadpool, I would say no.
No, take your money back. I'm not doing it.
Even though he's very easy to draw.
Yeah, I saw you. I think you tweeted about this, right? About the Preston Aceveda picture from your pizza delivery guy.
Yeah, that was funny. So yeah, that's hanging on my studio right there on that wall, and my front door is out the hall that way. So when you open the front door, if my barn doors are open, you can see his painting.
Yeah.
And the pizza delivery guy, he must have been like 18 or 17. He was young. He's like, "What is that?" I said, "Oh, that painting." I'm like, "That's the cover of one of my books." You're doing a book? I was like, "Yeah, it's called War Party. It's a comic book. It's on Indiegogo." He's like, "Are you serious? Like, it's crowdfunded comic book?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "I'm into that stuff. What is it? Shapeshifters?" Yeah, shape. He goes, so he's like, "Where is it?" He pulls it up on his phone and he sees it and boom, backs it right on his way to go back to the car. I'm like,
That's awesome.
Preston just
Oh,
got me a
that's
backer
awesome.
from the pizza delivery guy.
That's
Maybe
so
I should
cool,
leave it
man.
on the wall.
Yeah,
That's
So,
awesome.
yeah, that's the power of his artwork. I mean, that just shows you there's something there for it to grab that kid's attention. I mean, it's a 17-year-old. They don't read comics, as far as I understand. 17-year-olds don't. So that was pretty awesome to see that. I let him know
that's
too.
so cool.
I texted or I tweeted him on it.
Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah, so he was
That-
happy to hear that.
That's so cool to hear the stories like that, because you're like, oh, look, you just found a new backer and and hopefully he's going to be like, oh, what other comics are out there on Indiegogo doing, like this.
Who knows? Yeah, he might back other things. And it's funny because
Yeah.
I didn't know his name, so the only reason I knew he had backed it, well, I mean, I saw him do it on his phone, but then it popped up and there was a Jacksonville address. And I was like, well, that's the kid.
Yeah, there you go.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's very cool.
So the original for this is still available.
Yeah, of his.
That's
Now,
such
the
a-
original I did of that poster sold, so it's gone. That's the only original I did on board. Everything else is digital. That poster was the only thing I drew traditionally because I wanted something to sell. And it was 2 art boards taped together.
Oh, wow. Okay. There it is.
Yeah.
There's all 6 issues.
Yeah.
And then we have, I love your art. The art is just amazing.
Thanks.
So cool, man. Now, is this gonna be? Are you done after the 6 issues, or is this gonna be kind of like a universe that you're gonna come back to in the future?
Yeah, I originally it was, but it's one of those things that happen. You're a writer. You know how this happens. Originally, Diane was not my main character, the shaman.
Yeah.
She was just the power source that, and the main character was the team of the guys turning into the shapeshifters. But as I was writing it, I started to realize, you know how characters will do this to you. She's the lead. Like, I was like, she's the lead. She's the lead the way Scott Bakula's character was the lead in Quantum Leap. In other words, he would leap to another time zone or time period, and that person's, whoever needed help, that was their story. That episode was about them. So they were the lead characters, but Scott Bakula's character was kind of like, he was helping the story along. He was, and that's the way I see her. Because she lives so long, and I can take her through multiple periods of American history, she can assemble different war parties to accomplish different missions or tasks depending on what they need, and they can all be different. They're not all werewolves because their spirit animals are different. It could be a duck. I mean, it could be a were-duck, or whatever. It could be anything. So that's what's cool, is it gives me that flexibility. So what I did in the handbook, that's a secret perk where people get a handbook. It's kind of like the Marvel Universe book. It has all the bios. I put a timeline in there, and I put issue 0 on there. Hail Black Rose.
Hail Black Rose.
And I put 1 through 6 in there. But then I also put on the timeline a hint of future books. One of them's in 1864, Civil War. One of them's in 1926, gangster era in Chicago.
Oh, nice.
One of them's in the Wild West, 1880, right?
Yeah.
And then one of them's in 1977, when the crime rate in New York City was through the roof.
Wow.
Those are going to be my follow-up eras where I'm going to take her through those time periods. And what's cool about her is because she lives so long, kind of like Wolverine, she becomes more educated, she becomes more skilled. I mean, imagine if you lived 2,000 years, all the things you would know, the things you would learn, how good you would get at things. So she grows that way. And and she's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun character because I can change her with the time periods.
That's gonna be awesome, man.
Wow.
That's
awesome.
I have a character in the Lost Pages who lives forever as well. His name's Wildcard, and he's a sorcerer from Merlin's times. He's like an apprentice to Merlin. So he lives through until modern day. And that was basically the premise where I have a story where he's, investigating Jack the Ripper. I have a story where he's in the cowboy times and demons take over this town. And it's like a total cowboy Western movie. In the Lost Pages story, in the main book, he's a pirate on a ship, and sirens attack his ship and overtake his men, and he has to fight them off. Then in the short story in our bonus comic, he's in Egypt in like the 1700s, and he has to go hunt down Anubis, the Egyptian god of the dead, because he stole a weapon from the Greek pantheon. And so he's like kind of like the balance of between humanity and gods. So he's always fighting these mythological characters. So I love that aspect. And you know how you're saying your character over time, learns more and more.
Right.
But my character, similar to that, but he also becomes unhinged because he's kind of like living forever and he's going a little crazy. So he kind of turns into like this like trolley Willy Wonka type character where he's like just becomes nonsensical and it just messes with people because he can. So he's really.
I always heard the theory that if you did have immortality or you could live that long, you were guaranteed a horrible death. Because what it means is the only way you're going to die is either a car accident, a plane crash, somebody's going to shoot you.
Yeah.
It's going to be a violent death, because if you can't die of disease and you don't age, then the only way you're going to go is an accident or some sort of violent action. Again, so it's like, ooh, I never thought of it that way. That's kind of disturbing to think about. But yeah,
unless that doesn't take you out either.
Huh?
Unless that doesn't take you out either.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, she does
It's
have
like,
the whole healing factor and stuff. I mean, she's very Wolverine in a lot of ways. I mean, that's an age-old thing you can do with characters, because it gives you flexibility to put them wherever you want to put them without having to get into a DeLorean. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
Yeah, exactly.
I kind of see.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I was going to say about my character, I kind of took like the advice of Mike Mignola when he was talking about Hellboy, where Hellboy is his device to tell all these crazy mythology stories that, you just drop your character in and then you have these characters around him. Right. Similar to your character, like you're saying, where she goes, she's living through these times, and then the other supporting cast is what makes the story around her. I think that's what's really interesting.
Yeah, it does. And you need those surrounding characters, because they're the ones that she frames it, but they're the ones that sort of put it into a context. Because like this story, it's just about a father trying to get his little 8-year-old daughter back. That's all he's doing. His whole family, his wife was killed and scalped. The whole family was killed in the French and Indian War. They took his daughter. They're going to sell her to the French, which this happened a lot, by the way. It's horrible. And he just wants his girl back, his little girl. That's it. And he'll do whatever he's got to do. If he's got to turn into a freaking werewolf and slaughter thousands of soldiers, he will do it because he wants his daughter back. And it's no more complicated than that. That is the heart of the story, But you know this as a writer. If you find one core thing to connect with emotionally, like who can't relate to wanting to save their child?
Right.
Like that's it. You don't need everything else is window dressing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really about werewolves. It's about a father doing whatever he has to do to save his daughter.
Right. That's that theme of humanity that you want in every story you write, and the themes can be totally different from each other, but it's something that connects to us on a human level. That we have a connection to that book now that makes it so compelling. So I try to find that in every character that I write.
Yeah,
it's important. What do they care about? Because if they don't care, we don't care, and that's probably
right
why so many movies are so bad.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, exactly.
We sit through 3 Star Wars movies and we go, I didn't care about anybody. Exactly. And then some guy with a bucket on his head carrying around a Yoda, and you care about him after 1 episode. I'm like, what's going on here? Why do I care more about the guy with the bucket on his head than every character in the Star Wars trilogy? And it's because there's a humanity. We can relate to him trying to take care of this little thing that he needs to protect. I know a lot of people hate the Baby Yoda thing, but I'm telling you, Baby Yoda made The Mandalorian work that first season because you can relate to, you're worried about this him protecting this thing, and it gave it some heart, which it needed because, like I said, the guy's got a bucket on his head the whole time. You're just hearing his voice. So you're getting nothing here, right? So I thought it was a genius move by them putting Baby Yoda in there. But I know a lot of people think, well, that was a cheap thing to do just to win over, fans. And hey, it worked.
Yeah,
And
it gave the audience something to care about.
Yeah, and Luke coming back worked. I mean, you can call it pandering. You can say it's overkill, but it worked.
Hey,
I mean, what are you gonna say?
It's the only successful thing they've done.
It was so cool. I mean, I got chills. I get chills now talking about it. I mean, we were sitting there, I was watching it with my son. I'm like, it's Luke. He's coming. He's like, no way. They're not bringing. I'm like, Trey, Luke is coming. I'm telling you, because I didn't know. I hadn't to spoil it. And as soon as I saw the TIE fighter flying, I'm like, and my son was like, are you kidding me? I was like, it's Luke, Trey. He's coming, So that I love that kind of fan service when it's done right. Done respectfully.
Magical when it's done.
Yeah, he seems to be doing everything right with it. I mean, it's from what I've heard, it's the only one anybody likes.
Give it time. Give Lucasfilm time. They know how to ruin a good meal.
Favreau's got a good track record, though.
Yeah, as long as he stays in charge, then it should be pretty good because he's actually a fan. From what he said he's got a whole basement full of Star Wars memorabilia.
Well,
and I was like,
I'm
what?
coming to the realization they should just let Jon Favreau take all of it, Marvel and
everything. For
Star
sure.
Wars. He would have done it all right, and we wouldn't have had any of this nonsense.
Yeah,
it's a shame.
Well, it was funny. I'm not a big Star Wars fan, but Kathleen Kennedy, it came out that she actually lied to George Lucas because she worked for Disney first, and then she took over at Lucas, but she actually lied to him and said that she loved Star Wars and all the movies. Well, then it came out later that she let slip that she had never watched any of the movies.
Wow.
And knew nothing about Star Wars when she told him that to get that job.
Well, I could see through her when he was at the table signing the deal away. I was like, he doesn't see this? You could tell this woman, she's just waiting for you to sign that paper. To sign. And I said, I don't know why he didn't see it, because if you go back and watch the video with her sitting at the table, it's so disingenuous when she's talking to him. It's just, it's disgraceful, honestly. Like, it's like, I'm taking your child from you. I'll take care of your child. Don't worry. I'll take care of your child.
Yeah.
Then I'd take him out back and amputate all 4 limbs off of him.
Yeah, she's like those movies where it's the evil nanny. Yeah, sure. Leave your child in my care. I'll take care of it. Oh, the parents are gone now. I'm gonna beat this kid. It's like.
So when are you launching, Phil? You said you were launching in February.
Yes, we'll be launching in a few weeks. So we don't have a hard date yet. This weekend I'm gonna finish the trailer and get the campaign all oiled up. And we'll probably maybe next week we'll announce when we're launching. So, but super soon. Well, definitely in February we'll be launching.
Dude, there's your tagline for an '80s comic. All oiled up.
All oiled up.
That's great.
We have
that would be an '80s tagline right there. Yep. That's it with the Miami Vice theme.
There you go.
Show the girls on the beach like you got, and there you go.
Venice Beach. Yeah.
Beach babes, yeah.
Remember Muscle Beach? Muscle Beach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll be doing that. My brother has, we're almost 40 pages pencils and ink done already. Colors are coming in all the time. And we got some cool merch and stuff for it that we're trying out this time. I think fans are going to dig, adding some new, some new merch with some awesome art on it that people are going to like. So we're really excited about that.
By the way, you might be a distant relative of my wife because her maiden name is Diaz.
Oh,
she's from Puerto Rico. Yeah.
All right. We're Mexican. Well, I'm half Mexican, but I mean, it's all the same, right?
Well, Diaz is, they're all over the place, right?
Yeah.
They're all over. Yeah. That's right. So what did you guys, since you've both did your campaigns now, yours is still running, Professor. What did you guys figure out that didn't work with your campaigns, these first ones, that you're going to change or alter for the next campaigns?
I'm listening. I got to get a power cord or my laptop's going to die.
That's okay. Was there anything that stuck out to you, Phil, that like from your first campaign or even from the Lost Pages campaign
that didn't work?
That didn't work, or you're going to change for the next campaign to improve upon it?
I'm not sure. I think. I think a thing that we're doing now and going towards is having a lot more done before launch. I think that's a big thing. Even with the Magic Hop, we were working on it when we launched, but we didn't have a ton done. I think we had just about what we put on the campaign page done when we launched. And then with the Lost Pages, it was a little bit more, but kind of disjointed because there's multiple artists on it, right? So, even during the launch time of the Lost Pages, when we were hitting those stretch goals, we were actually contacting artists to do more short stories for the bonus comic to get them on. So I think, the best way to do it is have as much done as possible before launch, within reason with what you're able to obtain, of course, if you're needing to pay artists and stuff like that and you don't have the money, then you need the campaign money. But ideally where it's heading is having, the whole thing completed if possible. So what we're doing is we got a head start, and how we're going forward with that is right now I'm writing the next Lost Pages, scripting it out, already talking to artists, and they're getting ready to do concept art, draw pages. So while we're campaigning for Magic Hop 2, we'll be working on the next Lost Pages to try to catch up and have the whole thing done when we launch.
Here's a question for you, Phil.
Yeah.
Are you sticking with Lost Pages and Magic Hop, or do you have other properties you're thinking about doing?
So, I have other properties I want to do. But I mean, the Lost Pages and Magic Hop, we're going to be sticking with those, doing that. Like I just said, I was just writing the next Lost Pages story today while I was at, working on stuff. But I'm also working on properties for the future. But it's so hard, man, having all these ideas and such a fertile area that we're in with artists that want to work on things. So it's hard to plan out. It's like, okay, I got to plan out, 2021 and 2022. What could I put out, introduce a new IP and a new book and stuff like that, because there's some cool stuff. I really want to do a Western that has a twist to it, which will be really fun with an amazing artist in CG. So.
Oh, another Western. That'd be cool.
Yeah. So
yeah, Westerns are on the comeback, it seems, a little bit, especially in comics.
I just rewatched Once Upon a Time in the West, and it is amazing. If you guys haven't seen that one, go watch it. Charles Bronson.
Hold on, I'll be right back.
Nice. Have you seen? So when you get ready for Magic Hop 2, are you gonna do anything special like for the first week or 24 hours, or that you see a lot of people doing now?
So yeah, I think so. So what we did for the Lost Pages is the first week. If you back during the first week, you got an exclusive trading card. It was the Andrew Huerta silhouette trading card. So I think a little over 100 people got that, like 150 or something, got that, which is amazing. I think that's a good idea, and people doing that first day only back, that's insane. And I think it takes big names and a big push to do that, because as a creator, I don't want to just have it up for one day, because I want as many people as possible to get it, because it's I love the thing. So right. Having it a 1 week thing, I think that worked out for us, and a lot of people really liked that Huerta card. Let's see, where is it?
Jim Cox says, no pastel colors in a Western, please.
Yeah, we won't, brother. That's great. Here's the card. So Andrew Huerta did this kick-ass trading card for us. It was a week 1 exclusive, and we let's see here. It's the silhouette here. So
Let me bring that up here. Where is it? There it is.
And it has like this felt kind of soft touch laminate on it, so it's special.
Oh yeah.
Cards. And the way we do our trading cards is, you have the big portrait on the front, and then bio, little did you know fact at the bottom, stuff like that. So those went over really well. And if you guys back the Lost Pages, you get 8 of the trading cards. So I think that's a fun aspect. I think trading cards are coming back around. A lot of people are digging them.
I like the matte too, that you didn't go gloss on that.
Yeah. It's got a special thing for that card.
Yeah, I like the trading cards when they do stuff like that, where they put the picture on the front and then they do you flip it around and they have a little headshot and then they give you the bio, kind of like a bio on them.
That's where I get to do
I like that.
Do the writing, add the writing to the back of those. Those are fun.
Yeah. I don't know if you heard the question, Professor. I was asked, what did you learn from this campaign that you'll either change or fix in the next campaign?
You know the answer to that. Raise my price. I mean, I have 612 backers, and I'm not even at $30,000 yet. So, But here's the thing: I don't regret it. I did it. I knew what I was doing when I did it. I did it because I wanted to offer people the same price, as I told you before, as what they'd pay in the store for a comic book. So if you pay $4.99 for a floppy in the store, you're paying $4.99 for a floppy on my campaign. Mainly because it was the first campaign. I needed to win people over to give me a shot, try my book. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to gouge people next time. I'm just saying I'll be able to bump it up a little bit to, make things a little more financially sustainable over a long period of time, right? So yeah, that it is a little frustrating when you see those kind of numbers, those kind of backer numbers, and yet you're still like not at 25 grand. You're like, really? But so there's that. I would change that. And reinforcing what Phil said, even though I had 3.5 issues finished when I started and 2 of them colored, so I was well on my way. I do think campaigners need to get as much, if not all, of the book done when they launch, because I think fans are getting tired of waiting 6, 9, 12 months to get their books.
For sure.
And
or longer with a few of them.
Yeah, well, we won't get into those.
Yeah.
But if you're going past 12 months, there's something wrong. But
right.
I think. But the thing is, I think creators are in such a hurry to launch. Sometimes they get excited and they just jump into it with a cover and a couple pages, and you really need to get more done before you do that. And I think I'm glad I launched when I did, because to be honest, I launched sooner than I wanted to, but I did it because I had a feeling that if I was going to wait any longer, it would be a bad idea. I knew the election was coming up. I knew things were going to change a lot economically, and that's why I launched in October. I would have waited probably another 5 or 6 months to launch, and I'm glad I didn't, because I'm seeing how crowded it's getting right now, and this is a tough right now. And Phil, you have a following, so you're kind of you've already done several campaigns, so I'm not referring to you. I'm talking about first-time campaigners. Launching right now is, I think, a bad idea. It's
going to be hard.
Yeah,
I feel like there's going to be a lot of competition.
There is, and also traditionally in retail, just in general, January, February, and March are the worst months out of the year because everybody's spent all their money on Christmas. Things start picking up. It's true. Things start picking up around April again. So these are bad months traditionally in general to do anything business related.
Yeah.
But there's so many books coming out, and it's not the same Comicsgate it was a year ago. There's so much more stuff competing for people's attention, and I think it's going to get harder for newcomers to get in here and be noticed. You're going to have a killer book with top quality art. You're going to have to just hold nothing back and bring your A game, because it's a struggle for a lot of creators to just break 10,000. Like I'm seeing how hard it is for some books to ever get past that, to ever get in 5 figures. You know, a lot
Right.
of us hover around, you know, between 4 and 8 or 4 and 7, somewhere around there, or 3 or below. And so the fact that I was able to break the $20,000, you know, sort of bracket on my first campaign, I'm incredibly grateful that happened. But I'm not so sure that would have happened if I had launched right now or in February,
Right.
because I think the timing was right. So I think when you launch is becoming more important in a weird way, depending on who you are. Now, if you're Ethan, you can launch anytime you want. If you're John Malin, you can launch anytime you want. And even like once I have a book out, I'll be pretty much where you are, Phil, where I'll have a following that
For
I
sure.
can
Yeah.
rely on, you know, like a mailing list that then I know most of those people will come back, and then I bring in more fans, more readers.
Once you fulfill, that'll give you, you know,
Right.
that
Right.
credibility
And I've
that
kind of
you,
done
you
that
do
to a
it.
degree with my older work. That's why I threw that perk in there. I threw that perk in there for Claiborne and Holidays, and
Yep.
everybody that ordered it, they've all got them now.
Yeah, that's
Which I
really
got.
cool.
Yep, I've got it.
Heard about that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So yeah, so that's proof to people. I've printed before, I've distributed before, and I fulfilled your order. You got it. You're good to go. But I've considered, you know, if I run late on issues 5 and 6, and I'm not hitting my June delivery date, I'm seriously considering breaking it up into 2 shipments and eating that cost, and shipping issues 1 through 4 and 1 shipment, and then shipping issues 5 and 6 with another shipment, because I would rather ship part of it early than all of it late.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
That's
that is awesome.
an awesome, you know, mentality to have. And it's going to be, you know, cool for a lot of backers where they're like, oh, we got these 2. And then later, you know, you get more. But I know that you're going to take a hit on that. But
Yeah, well, yes and no, because here's the thing. I've got issue 0 in a separate shipment. So everybody who ordered issue 0, I can put their last remaining books with 0, which they already paid for shipping on that anyway.
Yeah.
So there's a way that
Oh,
I was
yeah,
able
there
to
you
work
go.
it. But this is the benefit to having floppies versus a graphic novel. If this was a 140-page graphic novel, I can't ship it till it's done, right?
Yeah.
Right.
You're
Because it's floppies, I could ship some of them early, some of them later, right? And at least the customer is happy. I mean, there might be a few that get irritated. I wanted 5 and 6. I want to finish reading.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a TV series, right? There's a cliffhanger, and then we pick up on the next 2 issues, and then you're done, and you're out of there. So either way, I'm not saying that's gonna happen, but I'm trying to think ahead, because I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. I lost a lot of time getting to that $23,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I was able to do my normal workload and raise that kind of money. It's not possible, guys. And I'm telling this all
Right.
campaigners. If you want to do those kind of numbers, this is your full-time job.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
that's just the way it is.
Yeah. So with these 6 issues, is that going to be the end of this storyline, and then you're going to move on to the next timeline, or is there more to this one?
No, I'm moving on to the well, I got to finish 0, obviously, after
Right.
the 6 issue, and then I'm moving on to 1977. So I'm going all the way
That's cool.
farthest in the future as possible that I had planned, and then backtrack and do the other ones later.
Oh,
I
that'd
think-
be fun. So you
I think
jump around
that's
in
the
time.
one. Actually the last issue 6, the epilogue, she's in 1977. So I
Oh.
leave this series in that
Nice.
period, so you
Cool.
know that's the next one to read.
I like that.
perfect.
Like Phil was saying about his character, how you can jump around it. You can jump around in time anywhere you want to go. You don't have to do it in chronological
You
order.
don't.
Right.
And
That-
I would suggest
That's
you
fun
not-
because then you're like, ooh, where are they going next?
right. I would honestly recommend not to do it in chronological order, because it's a little more interesting. It's like a flashback story, you know, because you could see such a vast change in the character, and you go, well, what happened that brought him to this point? Well, we can fill in that gap later, right? You know, and move around, and I think
Yeah.
it's a little more interesting that way.
Oh yeah, that sounds good. So here's a question. Okay, what did you guys think of when you guys were using Indiegogo? What is there stuff that you like about it, and what was there stuff that you think needs to be improved about it? I know that people have been talking about this subject for a little bit now.
Yeah. I think I think I started the Magic Hop 1 campaign at the perfect time. They had just implemented the add-on system, I think, and the pre-launch mailing list system. So I took advantage of both of those.
Yeah. That's
I think those are amazing aspects that Kickstarter wasn't doing. I think I heard Kickstarter may have just done an add-on thing. But yeah, Indiegogo was updating all the time. They were making things very easy for the creators. But one thing that I wish they would do is when you have an add-on and a perk, like, for example, with our books, while we're doing the campaign, we get some of our buddy artists and they'll do sketch cards for the campaign. And so I'll put up, here's 3 sketch cards by Passion for Drawing, and you can grab them by themselves. It's free shipping. We'll just throw them in your box. It's however much money. Or if you're a new backer, you could grab a book and then add on a sketch card in the add-on section. But those are technically 2 different items, even though it's still an add-on. I wish you could link the sketch card add-on to the regular perk add-on, so when someone buys one of them, the other one also goes down, so you don't have to race around and subtract things to balance it out, so someone doesn't accidentally buy a 4th sketch card that doesn't exist, if that makes sense.
Yes. Oh, okay.
So it's pretty specific, but it also would work in other situations and help.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Correct me if I'm wrong, Phil, but when someone doesn't buy the add-on as they're checking out, they can't go back and buy it later, correct? Like there's no way to get it.
Right.
See, I hate that.
That would be amazing, where if your backer is like, on day 1, they back the book, and then after 30 days, they're like, oh, maybe they added something else. I have basically all they would have to do is kind of like semi-leave a shopping cart, where you could just, hey, here's your shopping cart for this campaign. I want to throw another thing into there, that's something that would be really good for the backer.
I worked around it a little bit. What I did was, and I don't know if you might have just said you did this, but I created a new perk with the same add-on as a secret perk, and I sent it as a link. In case they changed their mind. And then I had people actually back that secret perk that technically was an add-on perk, but now it's a separate perk. So you got you got it as an add-on, you got it as a secret. It's the same thing though. Yeah. And I did have people come back and click on it and select it who did not buy it when they checked out initially.
Yeah.
So that is definitely something they need to fix, because it's weird, it's awkward. Because you're forcing them to make that decision right then and there, and they may not want it at that point, and then later on they change their mind and decide they want the poster or they want the t-shirt or whatever, and they can't get it now because they've already checked out. So it's kind of weird.
Right. And then because of that, it might be more shipping for them as a whole, as instead of just maybe a couple bucks for an add-on, So that's something that would help both the creator and the backer as well. So there's still room for improvement on there, of course.
Yeah, I hear people complaining too a lot about when they go back to, like, somebody, like you said, Professor Murf, puts up something new, they want to back that and add it to their campaign, but then they have to pay shipping on that as well.
Right. Yeah.
Even though they know it's going to be added to their
Together.
shipment. Yeah, they're bundled together anyways.
Well,
and they still get charged for shipping.
That's why when I offered the handbook, you notice I didn't put any shipping on it. It was $10 for a 32-page full-color comic. That was it. But because I knew anybody that ordered it had already ordered the books. So I was just going to slide that in their order, and boom, there was no reason to charge shipping on that.
Yeah, because like you said, as long as it can fit inside of the Gemini mailer, it shouldn't be getting charged for more. Shouldn't be charging everybody for more shipping because they're already doing it.
Now I did inflate the price on it because it's a special item. I mean, I'm not charging $10 for the regular floppies. Right. But it's also heavier paper because it's got the sticker album in the back. I don't know if you know about the sticker album, but I did a sticker album in the back.
Oh, cool.
Where those future books, all the pages of their bios and what from those issues, they're just blank with codes for stickers. So when you buy those books, you'll get the stickers with the new characters and their bios, and you can put them in the handbook. That's cool. As you get the new books, you're adding to the handbook, kind of like a photo album. so
pretty
that it
cool.
all comes together. It's for the long haul, so to speak.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I know being, we're in Florida, so there had to be a gator character in your
Oh, of course.
in your
And
party.
and a jaguar.
And a
Both
jaguar,
football
yeah.
teams.
And a bear. Yeah.
Yeah,
There you
well,
go.
that's Chicago, right? But yeah, so yeah, of course, the gators. There aren't enough gators in the world, right?
Right,
Or,
exactly.
or crocodiles. I've always been a Killer Croc fan, and he doesn't get his due.
Yeah. Well, we are Florida, so we are the only place in the world that has both alligators and crocodiles.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, and of course, there's a rattlesnake in there too. I won't give too much away, but you may not know this, but there is
That's
a
cool.
rattlesnake, a rattlesnake.
Oh,
I've never heard of that before.
or there's a couple others, the were eagle or the were, the were.
There's a porcupine too, and he looks pretty cool.
What?
Oh, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And so my question to Phil was that were you planning when you do your next campaign? Are you planning on doing any things like you see people doing like the 1 day thing, the 1 day item, or the week-long item, or special perks like that?
Yeah, would you do that, Professor?
Would you do that?
What, the 1 day item?
Yeah, like an
having
exclusive-
like an exclusive 1 day item, or this is
never-
like Phil was saying he did one that was for the first week.
Can you do that? It'll let you time the item or it'll close. Is that what it'll? I've never tried that.
No,
That's
the
one
way I
thing
did
haven't
it is it's basically it's basically a free item that if you back during the first week, then I throw in a trading card into your box when you get it.
Gotcha. So it's kind of like getting a free item if you sign up for the
Yeah.
mailing list.
And this is just like a time limited thing. So we did
Okay.
it the first week, I think 120 or 130 people back the first week. And then I, just printed out that separate trading card I showed, and that went in with the people that backed it.
Animorphs stickers. Yes, back. Thank you. And I'll make them scratch and sniff if I hit 30,000. How about that?
Jesus.
You scratch the gator and he smells like putrid swamp water.
Ooh, yummy. Or like some people have done, like I know Graham Nolan just did it with his new Alien Alamo. He had a 24-hour secret perk that got you like a discount on one of the whatever the featured tier was.
See, that's a good idea. Like, just not something special, so you don't have to make something extra,
Right.
because that's an expense. But maybe dropping the price for the first day. That's kind of a good idea, because the first 24 hours, if you have a lot of backers, then Indiegogo's probably going to push you even more, right? So other people
Right.
see you. That's a good idea.
The thing I hate about Indiegogo, and it drives me nuts, because I've done I've done 8 or 9 crowdfunding campaigns in the course of my life.
Yeah.
All the ones that were successful were on Indiegogo. The 2 I did that failed were both on Kickstarter.
Wow.
And the thing I hate about Kickstarter is, number one, you have to be really accurate about your goal, because if you're not and you don't hit it, you get nothing.
Yep.
Which I don't like that. And I also don't like the fact that they don't actually charge the backer when they back.
Yes.
They don't charge them until the whole thing comes to a
It's
close.
so dumb. Even from a backer standpoint.
It's terrible. And the problem is you get credit cards that don't go through.
Right.
So in other words, the money you think you've raised, you haven't really raised it. It's a promise of the money.
Oh.
It doesn't mean you really raised it. And that
that's weird.
You don't get the dopamine hit that you get from Indiegogo, that when you get a new backer, you know how this feels. You get a new backer and it's like, you accomplished something. You made a sale. It's Kickstarter, it's not a sale. It's maybe you made a sale.
Yeah.
Or maybe it won't go, the card won't go through, or whatever, or you may not hit your goal and then it's all gone. Doesn't matter. I had one campaign raise $16,000, but my goal was 20 and I could not hit it. Didn't get any of it.
Oh.
Yeah, and I just said that was the second time I tried them, and I said, I'm done with Kickstarter. I am done with Kickstarter. I'm going to Indiegogo for good. And this was before CG. This was like 3 years ago. I said, or 4 years ago. I said, I'm done. And I've never gone back, and I never will go back. And now they've gotten so political that you can forget it.
Yeah.
So I have no interest in ever using Kickstarter. I never will use Kickstarter. I love Indiegogo's interface. I love how they work. I love everything about the platform other than what we talked about, how you can't add add-ons.
Right.
Other than that, I have no complaints, really.
So that's crazy. So if I went and I go, I want to back this. I didn't actually back it. So later on,
You're going to get
when
a
I may
charge.
not have the money to back it, it's
Exactly.
then going to try to take the money out of my out.
Yeah.
Oh,
Maybe you have an
Wow.
emergency and you have to buy, 4 new
Right.
tires, bank account's low, then you get your $200, whatever you pledged to a Kickstarter, taken out, and then you're screwed, because you forgot about that.
Right.
It's really bad. And plus Indiegogo, whenever someone pledges, you don't even get notified that you got a backer unless the money actually, like the pledge actually goes through. So like, if I'm, I have a weird bank. So if I back something in Australia, it won't go through unless I tell my bank first because the fraud alert thing. So
Yeah.
they won't know that they won't get to send an email where I tried to back because there's like a little limbo time period where it checks the card. And if it can't take the money, then it doesn't update it, right? So that's good as well. You don't get those false
Hey,
backers.
Corey, what's up?
Hey,
buddy?
Corey.
It's a flawed platform. I don't know why it's as popular as it is, to be honest with you, because Indiegogo's been around longer. Indiegogo was first. A lot of people don't know this.
Didn't know that.
And
Oh, I didn't know that either. I
yeah.
thought it was Kickstarter.
No, it's older than Kickstarter.
Oh.
Kickstarter just got more popular faster, got more press. But it's I don't like the way the interface works. I don't like the experiences I've had the 2 times I've used them. There's no reason for it. I know people use it because it exposes them to a different audience. But I if they want to do that, that's fine. But it just, to me, running on 2 different platforms, we have enough to deal with logistically just trying to fulfill on one platform. Do I really want to be dealing with 2 platforms, 2 payment systems, two delivery methods? It's a mess. I would never want to do that. I'll stick to Indiegogo, and promote it the way we've been promoting it. I've got no complaints. This has exceeded what I thought I was going to hit on this campaign anyways, and it's not done. I mean, I'm not fulfilling for another 5 months. I could very easily hit 25 or 30 grand in 5 months.
Oh, for sure, man.
So the party's not over yet, no pun intended. But so I see no reason to even give Indiegogo my business. I just don't.
Kickstarter, you mean?
Oh, sorry, Kickstarter. Yeah, it's getting late.
So does Kickstarter or does Indiegogo the only one that has this in-demand feature?
Yes,
I think so.
You can't do in demand on Kickstarter, from what I understand. But the worst part about it is you can't do keep what you raise.
Right. So
it's
Indiegogo,
all or nothing.
Indiegogo has a feature you could set on Indiegogo where it's either fixed goal or flexible goal. So if you're, if Professor went over there and he did his campaign where he asked for 20K, but he did a flexible goal, he only raised 16K on Indiegogo, he would get to keep that 16K as long as he, and then he fulfills his stuff. But on Kickstarter, they don't have that choice. It's only fixed goal. So since he only made 16K, didn't reach that 20, doesn't get his funds. And there's no in-demand system. So, you see, guys that are named.
So do you still do the 30 days and then the 60 days? Or is it just 30 days?
Just 30 days.
They don't give you, they don't let you extend it either. I mean,
Indiegogo
gives you so many chances to succeed that Kickstarter doesn't give you.
Right. Wow.
And
that is a big difference then.
Even though I chose the flexible funding, and I will say, because I had a lot of people tell me that I was making a mistake setting my goal at 10,000, being a first-time campaign. They're like, that's high. And I said, look, I'm doing 6 books. I need $10,000.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, what happens if you don't hit it? Well, I said, I'll pay out of my pocket. I'm going to do this regardless. But, and here's the thing. If I had not set my goal at 10,000, I would not be at 23 right now. I'm telling you that right now. If I had set my goal lower, like 5 or 6 or 2,500 or whatever, I don't think I would have raised as much money, because what it did was it created an urgency among certain backers to say, this guy needs this amount of money to really
because they wanted
this happen. Yes, and it pushed people to back it more. So my advice to other creators is find that threshold you think you realistically can raise and and put it at the top of what you think that threshold is, because if your book delivers the goods, it will encourage the backers to invest and raise more money for your campaign. There's just something psychologically that happens when somebody sees something's already backed. Oh well, he doesn't need my help. He's got it. He's good.
Sure.
And I see a lot of backers set their goals at like $500 and $1,500. I'm going, you can't do a comic book for that. You can't even do one issue for that. What are you doing? But I understand it's just an arbitrary number for them. But to me, for what I was trying to do, I'm glad I set it as high as I did, because I really honestly believe it would not be as high as it is now if I had not started with that kind of goal.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. I still remember the first time when we saw your campaign for the first time. And then we were on, I think it was Rob's stream, and everybody was like, how is it? Wait, it's too cheap. It's not, how can it be possible that it's that cheap?
Yeah. And I mean, you guys were right to an extent. I get it. But I mean, it was great you guys did that, because it gave me a chance to find out what the questions were that people were asking, and it gave me a chance to answer those questions. And that was a turning point for the campaign. I'm glad that happened, and I saw that stream and was able to respond to it, because if I had, those questions might still be being asked to this day,
Yeah.
and if I had not answered them immediately,
Yeah. And I think that's something good too that you see too with this, is that a lot of the creators, on their campaigns, like Rob does his streams where he talks about critiquing them, and a lot of people will go, oh yeah, that's a good idea, and they'll go change their campaign, and you almost always, I've seen it works out for the better to make their campaign better, where you don't see very many people with that ego of, no, my campaign's perfect. You don't know what you're talking about.
No, hey, I'll do whatever it takes to get the backers or get the people to come on. Especially, you have to do that in your first campaign, because you're proving yourself,
right?
I mean, it like you said, once you fulfill and people know who you are, that's a different story. But until you do that, what I've learned about CG fans is they're very loyal, but you have to earn that loyalty. They don't just throw money at stuff. It's
right.
And I think it's because so many people have been burned by books that weren't delivered. There have been a few of those.
Yeah.
So, and I think it's just, you have to prove to them that you're legit, and that you're really serious about what you're doing.
Right.
You're not just, oh, look at what's happened over here. Well, I can make a quick buck, throw some crap together.
Right.
And those books aren't going to make it. People that are doing that, if they're coming over here thinking, I'll just throw something together real quick and make a fast dollar.
Like Cecil, we're never going to see those books.
Yeah, but Cecil gives us such priceless entertainment.
Yeah.
He's worth $250,000. We don't need to see a book. Just keep showing up on stream, Cecil.
Yep. And do you guys think that with like Phil was saying, these, you see some of these creators, like he was saying how he originally got started was you just start showing up in chats and you start interacting and doing that stuff, and then people get to know who you are, and then they invite you on streams so that you can, they can see you and stuff like that. And I think that's so for some of the people who've been doing this for a long time, that's a whole new world for them. They don't understand that they've got to market themselves and not their books now. And I see that a lot of times with the new, especially some of the creators who've been around a long time with we're for Marvel and DC and them. They think we're going to put out the book, but yet they're not doing anything else, and their sales their sales show that they don't understand the new way of marketing now.
It's tricky because it's personalities too. I mean, we're all different, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so some people just aren't going to like this person or that person or find them interesting, so I don't know the answer to that, because that's a personality issue,
right? And
you could be an amazing artist but just not be good on camera,
right?
What do you
and that's a hard thing with the way things are now. You really have to start going on, if you're promoting your comic, you got to go on streams. But I get that would be really hard if you were an introvert, for some of the guys that are, to do this kind of stuff, because they're like, oh God, I don't want to do that. I don't know what to do. When that's a lot of what now is what you've got to do.
That's what you have to do. I mean, some people don't have to. I mean, you look like Rob Willis. He's had Mondo success, and then he's been on 3 streams.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Kyle Ritter.
yeah. But I mean,
but they're on a level that's so astronomical. They're going to get work no matter what. Like
Mhm.
they're the top 1% of like the best.
Right.
So I mean, they are, I guess, exceptions. There are exceptions, but they're also not launching their own books, right? I mean, well, Kyle did, but I know Rob just is
He's just
basically
the
an
artist.
right? But he's
Right.
not the one running the campaign, correct?
You're right. Yeah.
Right.
Shinobi Sasquatch, for example.
Yeah, for
Right.
sure.
Right.
No, but I think even with those longtime veterans, those pros and stuff that come in, I mean, I could think of a someone that tried to do it, and he went on some streams, but he wasn't full force into it, and also he set his goal crazy high, but it just the campaign collapsed. It never
Hi,
got
Hockey.
funded. And yeah, it just wasn't. It didn't work out because he wasn't selling himself. I think that's a big thing, and you gotta kind of to do that is get out of your shell and not care if you look like a fool on these streams and be cool about people making fun of you and you making fun of them. You know, have thick skin, because what it is people like seeing genuine people being themselves. And a lot of the times, like if I'm on a stream with Shane or Dan Fraga or my buddies on Monday nights, it's just us, you know, being guys ragging on each other, you know.
Yeah, trash talking.
It gives that feel of community, of, you know, kind of a family base where it's like, oh, these guys don't care if they're shit talking each other. You know, that's how buddies are.
Yeah. God help the new creator who gets in a chat with Leroy and isn't ready for
Or Mo Biggs.
I was watching Bancroft at my girlfriend's the other night, and she's like, man, Leroy is just ragging on the stream, and like Andy Smith was on there, and she's like, poor Andy Smith, that he's just on here, you know, trying to pitch his book, and then Leroy saying that this is the worst stream Bancroft's ever put on.
Leroy is the designated hazer.
Yeah,
if this were
awesome.
a fraternity,
if it's not him, it's Mo Biggs.
Yeah, Mo.
They're
Mo,
like,
me
man.
and Mo got along immediately. Leroy, I had to win Leroy over. Leroy was not surrendering very easily.
Yeah. Got to work harder on those hillbillies.
Once he found out I liked guns and owned several of them, he started to like me a lot better. I'm like, dude, I live in Florida. It's the gun capital of the world next to Texas.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I gotta tell Leroy that I like guns too.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, I just had one more question for you guys. Let's see. Do you guys have a current favorite campaign by another creator? You know, we know you guys love your own campaigns, so it's okay. But is there any campaign that you guys are really looking forward to or really like?
Let me look at the stuff I bagged.
Yeah,
I know
that's me too.
one.
I'm like, oh, I got a lot of I backed quite a few things.
Yeah, for sure. Let me look at that. But
the way you guys are thinking about that, I was looking at your alien thing behind you, Professor.
Yeah, I built that.
That looks awesome. Wow. Is that a whole like diorama?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's really cool.
It's funny because the title is just stenciled and sprayed on plexiglass.
Oh, wow.
With backlighting, and to get the green, you're gonna laugh. Those are green Post-it notes behind the plexiglass.
Oh, really?
It's just light shining through green paper, and it, yeah.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. If you didn't say that, I would never have been able to guess that.
Well, you can't even when you look at it. It's just because it's just paper behind it. But
that's really smart. Wow.
But yeah, it's all the NECA figures. Those great NECA figures. Got the Queen, got all the Marines, got Ripley, and the background I painted and backlit. And I know it's a total dork thing to do, but I love I love that movie. You know, it's one of my favorites.
No, that looks awesome. Just looking at it right here, it's like, wow, look at that.
Dude, Todd,
What campaign, Phil?
There's so many that are coming out that are...
Yeah, I'm afraid to say one because I don't want to hurt other people's feelings because I've backed so many as well.
So,
what few then do you think are the good ones without hurting anybody's feelings?
One that I'm high on is the new She that's coming out, because I just read the newest one, Return of the Warrior, and the story was so good, really cool. So I'm excited for the follow-up. But man, there's so many other ones. The new U.S. Assassin.
Oh
that-
yeah.
that's coming out. I mean, it hasn't launched yet. I don't think. I think
No, it
it's
hasn't launched yet. It's in the sign up.
still sign up. And Battlemate on Knucklebomb too, man. Kyung Lee's stuff is killer. Even though I'm not huge into manga, just his
stuff is
story.
awesome.
Yeah, his stuff is so cool. We got to do a story with him on the Lost pages for the bonus comic. He was so professional and really just amazing at handling my manga style character that's in that universe. And then, oh man, the Buckler. There's just
He just closed that, right?
Battlemate Knucklebomb.
Yeah, I think he just closed that campaign.
You might be right. Yeah, it's closed right now. Yeah.
Yeah,
It made
I thought he
50
did.
bonus.
Yeah.
Dude, the thing about you gotta listen to this campaign. It's his second campaign for Battlemate and Knucklebomb. It's the sequel. He raised $51,000, almost 1,000 backers, and he only had 2 perks.
Yeah.
Wow.
Amazing, 2 perks. It's so cool.
People want
that
books.
is.
I mean, really, it gets down to it. People want they want to read stuff.
Yeah,
Right.
They like all the swag and stuff, but if you can give them more content, people will back your campaign.
yeah.
You know, like you
It
don't
just
need
blew
a
me
lot
away.
of crazy stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You're totally right.
And that can be a trap because I've done that before in the past, and it just ups your cost. You know, it's like, well, I got to
Right.
print posters, and I got to print bookmarks, and I got to print trading cards, I got to print T-shirts, I got to print caps, I got to print, and then before you know it, it's like your costs are getting eaten up on all these products that you're giving away.
Right.
And you could have just been pushing your book.
Right.
And so you got to be careful, I think, with some of that stuff. At least in your first campaign, which is why I didn't do any of that. It was just books and some original art, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know?
That's smart to do for your first campaign, I think, is just keep it simple.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
And then later, after you see how good your campaign is done, then you can push more stuff.
right, I agree.
Yeah.
Definitely. And
So what do you think,
particularly
Professor?
Oh, me, Fatal.
Yeah,
I
dude.
can't wait for
Yeah.
Fatal. Charlie Snogan's art just blows me away. That dude
Mind blowing.
just so good.
When I saw him do those
Wait.
two-handed drawings, I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, there's a guy
Wow.
that doesn't need to sell you on his personality just because his art is mind numbing. But he would go on those Frega draw alongs and stuff.
Mhm.
He goes on with Clint sometimes. The guy's super chill. It was really cool to see him draw on those Frega streams digitally. It was really, really cool. And that guy, he's just the coolest, nicest guy, and just
he's the total package.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
all that. And the other one would be Sovereign Wolf, of course.
yeah.
That
I
one looks good
love,
too.
what Eddie's put together.
More werewolves.
Yeah, well, it's a great looking book.
Yep,
Yeah.
it is.
And don't be surprised. You might have heard it, but don't be surprised one day if there's a Sovereign Wolf War Party crossover.
I heard that, man.
We're
Yeah.
both serious about this. We're like, let's get through some of our books first,
That would be awesome.
build up this fan base, and then
Yeah.
we're gonna, just collaborate.
That's gonna be sick.
Because those two worlds work well together. I think they would really. It just as soon as I saw his book, I was like, okay, I can get upset about this, right? That there's so many similarities. You got a team of shapeshifters,
Right.
or I can embrace it and go, you know what? There's something we can do here to benefit from this. And Eddie turned out to be a really totally cool guy. He's like the best super chatter in CG. The guy next
Oh
to
yeah, he is.
I don't know what he spent on super chats on this campaign. It's got to be probably in the 1,000 range, because it'd be like $20, $5, $10, $20
Yeah.
Yeah,
on the
man.
same stream. I'm like, Eddie, save your money, dude. I mean, this is people. You don't need to do this. So definitely Sovereign Wolf.
Looks like it.
Fatal would be my two choices.
Eddie's he's like 30 minutes from me, or like 20 minutes from me.
Oh, you're in Chicago?
Chicago boys.
Nice.
Yeah, I like
So
that.
cold, dude.
When I saw that print, I think it's a print or poster that he's got with Graveyard Shift.
Yeah,
And Sovereign Wolf, I was like, wow.
And let him use some of his characters, which I
Yeah.
was shocked to see. I was like, dang, dude, go
That's
Eddie,
pretty cool.
man, that's impressive.
Yeah.
So we're definitely gonna be talking in the future about something. I have some ideas. I'm gonna run by him, see what he thinks.
And then Todd,
That
I
would be a
have
great one.
a a future campaign that I'm looking forward to that is launching this Sunday. It's from Edwin Acevedo, The Ace. His book is dropping Sunday. He's got a mailing list right now. It looks really cool. It's like intergalactic battle armor kind of drops from space. This young guy finds it, and then all these intergalactic bounty hunters are after that suit. And he's got to learn how to use it and defend himself. And it's kind of like this big universe he's building up. So it looks pretty cool. The Ace.
Oh, The Ace. Yeah, Edwin's book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Edwin's book.
Cool.
Yeah, that one does look good too. I was seeing him talking about it before, and I've looked it up. I think I signed up for his mailing list as well. Because it looks so good.
Book the other night impressed me. Did you see that on Bancroft's stream? Gun Demon?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
cool.
Gun Demon. Yeah.
Yeah, the logo and the cover art and everything. I was really impressed with what he was putting together.
Yeah, that looks really good too.
That and the Company Men from Kimosabe looks really good. Yeah. And I think that Gun Demon and Company Men are kind of in the same universe. Like those two creators are talking to each other to hook up on that.
Rob, he's back. Right. How is this, Rob? How is this, Rob? Is this? We're gonna paint some happy little trees and just happy clouds.
And it specifically had to be in toilet water, not just water.
Of course. Well, that's the writer in him, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's how you know he's a writer. It probably, I don't know. It probably had the shirt was flopped over it or something.
I think besides yours, like War Party, and that's one of them I'm really looking forward to. I'm looking forward to Fatal as well. There's just so many good ones out right now. It's hard to. Sovereign Wolf. This looks like another good one. I can't wait to get the new Graveyard Shift stuff. It looks. There's just like you said. There's so many things out there now. It's hard to. Okay, I have this much money. What am I going to back, and what has to wait till I get more money? It's just such a, and you see it like you said. It's like everyone is stepping up their game. Where it's like some of the stuff that was out before is not going to be able to compete with this new stuff, with all this new stuff coming out. I mean, like Sovereign Wolf. Look how amazing that looks.
Yeah, and Eddie came out of nowhere as far as people are concerned. They're like, and me too. Even though like I've been in the business since '92. Right. On and off, but my point is, as far as CG goes, I'm a newcomer. So, it's one of those things, and it's good because it's going to force all of us to do better work. I mean, when I see the other books out there, I'm like, crap, I can't take a nap on my pages. I've really got to do my best because this stuff's just looking better and better, and more pros are coming over from Marvel and DC that have all that experience and skill, and
Speaking of which, there he is.
Edwin, what's up, brother?
Hello, Edwin. We were just talking about your book.
We were talking about boxing the other night on Preston's stream with Edwin. Mike Tyson and talking about old fights.
Yeah. I remember that. I was watching.
Man, I won a lot of money off Tyson and Holyfield.
Did you?
You bet on that match?
I bet on Holyfield both times.
Nice.
Made a bunch of money off that sucker.
Because everyone was betting on Tyson, especially the first time. I bet.
That one was a lot because it was like I can't remember the odds, but that was
the ear bite was the rematch.
Right.
Yeah.
Because he was getting beat up again by Holyfield, so he
was getting frustrated at that point.
Yeah, he got frustrated and started to bite, and I was like, and the minute he did that, I win again.
Yeah. Was cannibalism like a bonus in the bet?
yeah. What are the odds that Tyson turns cannibalism? Let's see. I'll bet on that one too.
That would be hilarious.
But yeah, I was one of the among my friends. I think I was the only one that thought Holyfield was going to win that.
Wow.
At that time, and I'm like, no, I'm putting some money down on that because we didn't live far from Vegas. I mean, from Reno. So I called up Reno and I was like, I want to put some money down this fight, and the odds were like huge too. But and when he won. Oh yeah, I was like cha-ching.
Holyfield is a very underrated fighter. He doesn't. He doesn't get the respect he deserves. The guy was pretty incredible.
Yeah, he was. He was.
and he was tough.
Even with Tyson, I think he was one of the best boxers I've ever seen.
Well, and he had the most heart. You'd had to kill Holyfield to beat him or knock him out. Like
Right. Yeah.
he would not quit. When he fought, what's his face, big dude. This is how you know I'm getting old. Riddick Bowe.
Oh,
He
yeah.
fought Riddick Bowe. I mean, Bowe was just destroying, putting really bad hits on his face and everything, and Holyfield just wouldn't quit.
There you go. Where you said you guys were talking about.
Some say Tyson lost all his fights. Who says
Here's
that?
Rob again.
How dare they? Well, lost all his fights. He won most of them in the first round.
Yeah, most of his fights didn't even go to the second round.
Right, if he went to the second, third, then he started getting frustrated. That was his problem.
Right.
He would get, why isn't this guy falling? What's going on here?
And that's what he did with Holyfield, was he kept hitting him, and Holyfield just kept going, okay, what else you got?
Yeah.
And that just frustrated him, because the longer it went, I think he'd get tired. That's why he tried to take everyone out in the first round.
Yeah.
So he wouldn't have to actually, do any cardio.
Yeah, he didn't want to fight. Well, he wasn't a go the distance kind of guy. That's not the way he worked.
Right. Okay, I see it's already been 2 hours, and I think that's what we capped it at. So it was good talking to you guys. I'm glad you guys were able to come on.
Had fun.
Yeah, I'm glad that you put this together. It was a good time, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Is this your first stream, or how long have you been?
Yeah, this is my first actual one with guests.
Just launched,
That was actually a program. I've done a couple where I was just on talking, and a couple people came on.
Yeah.
But this is the first one I've actually tried putting together.
I'm honored. You asked us to come on your first stream. Oh.
Well, I'm glad you guys were able to.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was fun. Hopefully the audience enjoyed it, and some people will get some insight into our side of the I guess, crowdfunding.
Yeah, seems like you need
system.
to retitle it. It's the how-to, or the what to do, what not to do.
Yeah. Well, that's why I called it Creator Truth.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, tomorrow night I'll be on Sontag's show.
Okay.
Joe.
What time's that?
I think 9. I'll have to go back and look. I think 9 o'clock.
Nice.
Yeah.
Tomorrow I'll be watching The Mandalorian.
Yeah, next episode. Yeah.
I'm rewatching season 1.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, because my girlfriend and I were watching all the Star Wars in order. So now we're at the Mandalorian part. So.
Oh, I got
yeah.
you. Okay.
Yeah.
Like in chronological order, not in the way they came out, like story order.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big Cobra Kai fan. That's my show, right? Loving Cobra Kai. I mean, I like Mandalorian too.
Yeah.
But Cobra Kai is just hitting it on all cylinders. It's total cornball, and I love every minute of it. It is not afraid to be 80s cheese all the way, fan service all the way. It is unashamed, and it's doing it right. So I love it. Teddy Atlas said something like that on. Okay, yeah, Rob's gone off on a boxing tangent. I guess we're gonna have to start having boxing streams on CG. Have I started something?
Yeah, I think you have. Edwin too. He's like, yeah, he'll do it too.
CG boxing matches at CG Con.
Oh Lord.
Oh.
who wants to get in the ring with Snogans, or not Snogans? Not Snogans. It's Graham Nolan. Graham Nolan.
Oh yeah.
He's pretty.
Yeah, he's big. Yeah, he is. You have to get those giant gloves, those giant boxing gloves, so somebody actually doesn't get hurt.
Bane was an extension of himself, I think.
Yeah.
Bane.
Well, I've got your guys's Phil. I've got your stuff is in the description for your sign up for Magic Hop 2, and I've got Professor Murf's War Party campaign for Indiegogo is in the description as well, and so is I have both of your Twitters as well. If people want to get in contact with you or back your projects.
Awesome.
Sounds good.
Okay, well, thank you for joining us tonight on Creator Truths, and we'll see you on the next episode.
All right. See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.